Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. And, yeah. Another week gone by. Another week of summer gone by. As we build up towards the busy season at my place of employment, fun times end, shitty times begin. But yeah, I don't know if I have a whole lot to talk about this week. I don't know. Not a whole lot happened. I'll say what did not. You know the deal. So yeah. First of all, on the channel, we finished up Axiom Verge. That was very good. Not that the game was terrible, but I was okay with it being done with. We moved along with I think we started her story this week, I believe, and we moved that along. Entertaining stuff. People have been enjoying that. I've been enjoying that. So it's all good. We'll probably finish that this week, I would imagine. I think we're fairly close. What else? We did the Duelist stuff, and actually the Duelist client has not been released yet. They said it was going to be this week, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. There was role manging. That's kind of it. There was the Mangg cast, of course, although it was not a busy week there. So, yeah, I mean, we didn't do a great deal of stuff over the course of the week. Her story, I think, was kind of the highlight for me, at least. So yeah, this week we'll finish up her story. We will do some more Duelist. They're role manging. Okay, they're not going to be a role manging tonight. Ziggy is preoccupied. He and his wife are babysitting his wife's cousins or something like that. So they've been busy the entire weekend. Just running all around town doing shit with them. Which, like, he missed board game day, he missed brunch, he missed every activity we did over the weekend. Just it's a wash. That sounds terrible. What a burden on your soul. I mean, I can understand, spending a weekend with just a significant other or a girlfriend or something akin to that. I can understand that. I can see how people do that. But involving kids, going to the mall and fairs and shit, good God. Not for me. Not at this point. Not at this point in my life. See, that's why I've built up a reputation in my family of having no interest of ever doing that. So now they never ask me, so it just saves a lot of hassle. So, anyways, I got off track. He's been doing that, so there's not going to be any D&D this weekend. We talked about maybe doing it sometime later this week, perhaps on Thursday before I go to Applebee's. Depends how close I want to cut that. It's possible, I guess. It's possible. Yeah, so there might be a role manging later this week. There'll definitely... No, I can't say that. There'll probably be one then next Sunday, but yeah. Jeez. What else? What else? What else? What else? So yeah, I don't know. There's her story. There's Duelist. There's the Mangg cast. That's kind of what I have lined up as far as I know. There is Zelda, which I always kind of throw around there. There is the concept of Sherlock Holmes. That's what I was gonna say. Sherlock Holmes is a possibility. There's Turok. That's the other thing I did last week. I did the Turok Evolution video for Ziggy's Patreon donation, which I think was fairly well received. I enjoyed doing it, I guess. So, in lieu of starting something new and drastic, I might just do another Turok video. Potentially. Wow, that's damn solid value when you think about it. That was 3 cards for my 1 in his whole turn. That's just good. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Shit, that's terrible. It's just bad. Yeah, so there'll probably be another Turok video unless something big comes up, but there's not really many games coming out. There's, like Mad Max is coming out. It's fairly soon. That might be in September, though, now that I think about it. So yeah, there might not be anything coming out for a while. But yeah. I do have yeah. The second, you know, this game takes my thoughts, it absorbs them. I did receive another Patreon patronage of $12, so that includes then the game suggestion, the game request. So I have that lined up for August. I won't tell you what it is. I won't tell you what it is until the video comes out. But I can assure you it is a fairly popular game that came out, I don't know, a little over a decade ago, I think. I don't know. I think. And then Ziggy will have another request if he keeps it up for August, so there's that. Let's see. There's Batman, but like I said, I'm just not in the position where I want to. $60, it's too much. So, unfortunately. This could do that. Alternatives. Cycle one of these Phoenix Fires. No. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a crazy time for my channel, but that's all right. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. You know, I could just look into, like, indie games. I tend to just look at the high-profile stuff, and I say, oh, there's nothing coming out. But I have had success, and I have had positive opinions about some of the indie games that I've played. And, you know, stuff like Ori and the Blind Forest or Limbo or, you know, things like that I've enjoyed. So that's 8. So I guess I could look into that. I mean, like something like Her Story, which is a very unique game that I, for one, enjoy, and people kind of got into. You know, games like that, I guess, don't come around that often, but when they do, it's something I try to take note of. So, yeah, okay. Alright, so I guess that's all I can say about the channel. Board gaming was not, it was not the activity of the week, I can assure you that. There just wasn't, I mean, getting together during the week just not happened much, except for the whole family game night thing, which I would like to have happen around this time of the year, but it does not. I did play today. I had a couple friends over, and we played. We played Spartacus. Yeah, we played Spartacus again with 3 players, which I was unsure if it would work. I mean, it works. Spartacus. It's one of those games that I love the concept, and I love a lot of the concepts in the game, but it is not perfect. It's definitely hampered. Hold on. Just let me think it through. Let me think it through. Don't pressure me. That could be 7, 9, 11. I can do 11 damage. That's not enough, is it? Not quite enough. We can do this. Make it 6. And hit it. And we can do this. And okay. So, anyways. The thing with Spartacus is it's too long, unfortunately. Now, that doesn't bother me. I'll play whatever. I don't care how long it is. I'll sit there for 6 hours and play a game if it's good. And I think Spartacus, if you played the long version of the game, I think it would be very enjoyable. If you really got into it, you got into the whole backstabbing thing and blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, other people don't always have that same level of commitment. And so they'll want to play Spartacus, but they'll be like, "Oh, let's play a medium game of Spartacus or a short game of Spartacus or whatever." And I think I've said this before, but if you're going to play a short game of Spartacus, you're better off with something else. In all honesty. Let's see, that's 6, 8, 10. I can do 10. 10's not good. 10's shit. I need 11. Also doesn't help me. If I delay this for too long, I'm screwed. This sucks. So, I mean, today we played kind of a medium-ish game, and I mean, it's cool that you can vary how long the game is, but that it just fucks with the experience so much. Because the game is really based around backstabbing and alliances and things like that. You play a short game, it never happens. There's no reason to. There's a mechanic in the game. I think I've explained the whole game before. There's a mechanic in the game where you want to collude with other players. Or ally with them and work against others, so on and so forth. And there's a mechanic in the game that basically forces you to work with others. There's no other option for some cards. You just have to. And for the longer games, there are many, many more times where you just have to work with somebody else if you want to do something to kind of keep things rolling. Whereas when you switch then, this can only work in my favor, right? Cool. So then when you do the short game, it eliminates pretty much that entire mechanic. There's very, very few times where you need to work with somebody. So it's kind of just... It really comes down to luck so much more than anything else. And I don't feel like that... It's not at its best when it involves luck. So... Yeah, I mean, we played it, and it was alright. I enjoyed it. But I pulled off a ridiculous win. Like, it was ludicrous. They had no idea it was coming. Which was cool, I guess. Yes. I think I win. They had no idea it was coming. Basically, what it was I had been hoarding slaves the entire game. I had like a harem. It was ridiculous. I think at the end I had basically 9 slaves, where they had like 2. I was buying up every slave. And I had gotten up to 9 influence. So I needed 3 more to win. And I had to hold it till the end of the phase. And I was fortunate in that the player to my left won the host for the last round. Which meant that I was going to go last for the next phase. Which was good, because then there's nobody after me to kind of lower my influence. The guy to my right, the second player, he tried raising his influence. Like, he basically had cards in his hand to raise it up to 12. But I had prevented him from doing that, because otherwise I would have also gotten to 12, and then we would have gone into the arena, and he had been doing gladiators the entire game, so I would have been sorry. So he was kind of cock-blocked. Then it went to me, and I got a ludicrous amount of money because I had all these cards that just got me money based on how many slaves I had. I ended the game with 51 gold, or denarii, which is... It's ridiculous. You don't need that much. So then what I did was I discarded my special ability for my character or whatever was discard 3 slaves to get 1 influence. And you can do that as many times as you want on your turn. So I discarded 9 slaves to get my 3 influence up to 12. And they couldn't block it. You can't block those special abilities. So they couldn't do anything about that. And then I was the last to go, so they couldn't lower my influence or anything. So the only thing I was worried is if they have the card where it's like if they have no ready slaves, they lose an influence. But I had just played that card on somebody else. I was like, probably not. So it was fortunate. Okay, I guess I'm fishing for a dispel. Not a dispel. Resummoned him. So yeah, it was a very clutch win. They didn't expect it all. It was cool. But yeah, Spartacus, like, I want to like it, but if they had shrunk down the game into a better package that was streamlined a bit more, was quicker. But on the other hand, I think that might lose it then. It might lose some of its flavor and its appeal. But getting it to the table for a long game, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Because then when you're talking, like, a long game of that is 3 hours or so. And when you're talking a 3-hour game, I feel like maybe I have better choices when you're going to spend that much time. So, yeah. Spartacus is what it is. We then moved on. We then, because one of my friends didn't have a whole lot of time left. So he wanted something quick. So I'm like, alright, the quickest thing I got, Jungle Speed. I pulled out Jungle Speed, and I think I had said I played this on vacation a little bit. We played it one night for a little bit, and I thought it was just a blast. So I was like, okay, we'll try it with 3. I didn't know how it was going to be. I feel like it's more exciting with more people, like most games. There's a bit more just excitement in the air. But, yeah, with 3, it was still very entertaining. We had some fun times. It just, man, that's such an intense game. You just feel it in your heart, in your soul. This intensity. It's so crazy. It's so good. That's one of those things I think everybody should just own. It should just be in every household, because why not? The rules are dead simple. Anybody can play that. Maybe not be great at it, but anybody could play it and have a good time. Maybe I should keep Pato. Yeah, Jungle Speed is good. I don't know. Comparing it to Pit, I guess Pit is less intensive. Some people may prefer that. Like, it's still real time, it's quick, it's loud, it's frenetic, but it's not as intense, you know? So, yeah, I can see how some people don't care for that. But, despite all that, Jungle Speed is good. It's good. It's good. Paddle. Didn't work out at all. Actually, I guess it's okay. Yeah, that was pretty much all the board game I did the whole week, which isn't impressive, but not much I can do about that other than just going to my local game store and being like, hey, let's play Netrunner, which I'm just... I mean, I wish I was the kind of person that did that, but I'm not. I did buy a board game, though. Some of you may know. Some of you may not have been around. But on Wednesday, Amazon did Prime Day, which was supposed to be the biggest sale of the entire year. Bigger than Black Friday. Just gigantic savings. Gonna be this huge blowout. People were so hyped. It was crazy. And then it wasn't. It was shit. It was like, yeah. I don't know how you guys Nobody I'm talking to has not heard about this. I would assume. Like, this thing was everywhere. How shitty it was. It was all over Twitter. There were hashtags. It was big. And so I had been following kind of the board game community. They were getting excited about it. Because they were like, oh, maybe there'll be some great board game deals. We'll share them. We'll talk all about it. It'll be great. And then there weren't any board game deals. And people were less than excited. Shit. So yeah, I mean, I was hoping for some kind of board game. I was prepared to spend some money. I was prepared to give Amazon some of my money, but they weren't in the mood, so they kind of nixed that. However, other sites, I guess, were like, hey, Amazon sucks, and they lied to you, and they're terrible, but look at us. Look at all the deals we've got. And so my ears perked up. I paid attention. And the one that I cashed in on was at Miniature Market, which is one of the big board gaming websites that I have now started to order from quite a bit. More than cool stuff, actually, recently. And they had just kind of like a one-day summer sale or something like that. And they actually were having a deal on the Infinity Operation Ice Storm starter set. They had a really good deal on that. It was like half price or something like that. Really solid. So I'm glad Infinity is getting some love. And, but that, I already had that. I wasn't interested in buying that again. What they did have, however, that I did buy, even though I was not prepared to buy it that day, was Imperial Assault. Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is kind of the Star Wars version of Descent. Kind of the dungeon crawling board game that's very popular. So it's kind of the new version of Descent, but with Star Wars and with some updates and things like that. And everybody has been raving about Imperial Assault since it came out. Big deal. Big deal. So, I had not much interest in... Well, I had a lot of interest in it, but... we haven't really played Descent at all. We haven't played Descent much at all, so it was kind of hard to justify buying Imperial Assault when, it was kind of hard to justify buying the improved version of a game that we haven't played much since I've gotten it. So, and the game, I mean, Imperial Assault is like $70 or something like that. $75. It's there's a lot of minis and pieces. It's a big game. So I had never gotten it, didn't have much interest. But the deal that Miniature Market had that day, $50 for Imperial Assault, half of the MSRP, and like, I think it was at least 20-something bucks cheaper than anywhere else. Tremendous deal, cheapest it's ever been. I was like, how can I? And I was on that deal, like, instantly. Like, as soon as they put it up, I had stumbled upon it. It was like, oh. So yeah, I had to order it. I don't know, again, it's like, I don't know when I'll ever play this, damn it. But I got it. I got that shit. So yeah, that'll come next week. Oh, boy. The other thing that I bought was some more, like, tokens and shit for Infinity. I had bought kind of the whole starter token set from Warsenal, but that didn't come with... That didn't come with everything that I needed, unfortunately. I think it comes with everything you might need if... No, really it doesn't. Really it doesn't. So, yeah, I had to purchase some more stuff from that. And I was actually going to buy a bit more terrain for Infinity, but then that freaking Imperial Assault deal happened. So I was like, oh, no, that's enough for today. Yeah. Other than that, let's see. On Wednesday, I don't know if I've mentioned this at all so far, but on Wednesday nights now, I'm part of a kickball team. Feels like something I would have mentioned, but I guess maybe I would have only mentioned it if something interesting happened. But the only thing that happens in kickball is we really suck. We're like the worst team in the entire league. Like, every other team there has been playing for, like, years with each other. They have shirts. They have got good team names. They're all energetic and athletic, and they're having a good time. We're just the worst. We're shit. So, that's that. So far, like, if you combine all the scores of the games that we've played so far, it's been, like... 5 points us to 70 points for all the other teams. It's been a little insane, I'll admit. And I mean, the only reason I really joined was because I was told there would be a lot of chicks. There really isn't. Like, on our team, there's, like, Ziggy's wife. There's my aunt. There's some other guy's wife. And then I think there's some other guy's girlfriend. Like, there's no single chicks on our team. And... I mean, yeah, the other teams have chicks that are, yes, but I'm not going to be, like, shitty at kickball and then go over to some chick on the other team, but, like, you know, you come here often? Like, just, that's not going to work. Because all the other chicks on the other teams, they're all there with their boyfriends. Like, this isn't single ladies are coming out and to play kickball. It just doesn't happen. So, I don't know what I was thinking. We're just shit. And I'm like, I'm not competitive at all. Especially, I hate sports. I hate sport. What was I thinking? Like, I went up to the bat, or no, I was appointed catcher for like 1 inning, which I was like, I don't want to do this at all. This seems important. And so, like, the guy that was kind of running the thing was like telling me where to stand to be the catcher, and I was like, I didn't sign up for this. And he was like, yeah, but doesn't, you know, you're saying he mentioned, like, some guy's name, probably some sports guy. And he's like, doesn't he throw the ball? You know, he said some sports thing. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's just like, wow. And I'm like, this is the kind of atmosphere that I'm in. Like, everybody here watches sports and enjoys it. What am I doing? It was, yeah. So we've been shit, which is fine because I had some friends who a couple of years ago were on, they were on a softball team. And their team was shit, just like ours. Like, they never won anything. But they had a lot of fun. Like they just didn't care. They just screwed around. It was a lot of entertainment. Our team is shit, but they're really, really serious about it. They take everything very seriously. And I mean, I try to make jokes because that's what I do. Like, that's, of the things involving kickball, the thing that I'm going to be best at is making jokes about how shitty we are. But, you know, they don't laugh. They just give me, like, glares, and they just make me feel like an asshole for joking about how shitty we are. So, it's a lose-lose all around. And I had to pay $20 to Mert to sign up for this. And really, I just blame Mert for everything. That was a crazy long match, by the way. Mert organized this whole thing. He set it all up. He took money from everybody. And one time, one of the games, I was yelling at him about it. I was like, you know, I paid $20 for this shit, and I only get to kick the ball 3 times. And some guy on the other team was like, you had to pay? And so I started screaming at Mert again. I'm like, you stole my money to buy lasagna. It was just this whole thing. I don't know. And then he, like, we don't have shirts, which, like, all the other teams are coordinating. We don't have any coordination at all. And what else? There's another thing. Our name is terrible. Like, there was, like, no vote. Like, there was no vote to what our name was, which I feel is just wrong. Like, there should be some sort of... I feel like you're setting a precedent right there when you don't let us vote on a name. Our team name is the Fighting Mongooses. I think. I'm pretty sure. That's what it's listed as. And I feel like this is just Mert. He's like, oh, we're the Fighting Mongooses. Yeah, put us down. Put us down for that. Sign us up. And, I mean, I think that sums it up. I think that sums it all up. Yeah, so we're trash. We're garbage. What do you expect? What do you expect from me? So yeah, that's what I've been doing on Wednesday nights. And so, I mean, it's true that I am perhaps not putting forth my best effort. But, I mean, I try. I try when, like, the game starts, when I feel like maybe this team sucks as much as us. So, you know, maybe I'll put forth my best foot. But when we're at 17-0, like, I'm not going to sit out there and just... I'm not going to do anything, really. I'm just going to watch the spectacle, to be honest. Why would he have not put one behind him? That's a noob move, fool. So yeah, that's my Wednesday nights, if you're curious. It's one of those things where I wish I just had Google Glass and I could just, like, record it and show you what it's like. But I don't think I can do that. My Thursday nights, of course, are Applebee's, and really nothing happened this week. There's this one waiter at the Applebee's we go to, and I say waiter so you can hear the contempt in my voice, since it's not a female, because I'm very sexist like that. No, that's not true. I think both the Applebee's waiters and waitresses are equally incompetent, so I don't judge. But this guy, this one waiter, like, I hate him more than anybody else, and it's kind of mean. I'll admit it's mean. I dislike this guy because of his appearance, and don't take that the wrong way. I mean, he's white. I mean, it's not like not, you know. Do I have lethal? Yes. This guy looks like, I mean, well, I guess dislike. I don't hate him. I guess that's improper. I don't hate the guy. He creeps me out. Like, he weirds me out on a deep level because he just looks like an android. I think he might actually be an android. He reminds me of like Android. What was that, like 16 or 15? Like the big quiet guy from Dragon Ball Z. The big quiet android from that. He kind of looks like that, except like the horse jockey version. Like, he's very tiny, but his head and face, he looks like an android, man. I don't trust him. I don't trust the guy. He creeps me out. He kind of looks, I don't know, South African. Like, he looks like one of the thugs from like Chappie or something. Like, I don't, or he looks like something like he belongs in the future. Like, he looks like some cyberpunk guy. I don't know. It's just, ugh. And he made like this weird, like he yawned. He was taking our order and he yawned, but it wasn't like a human yawning. This was like, it was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. It was so creepy the way he yawned. It wasn't natural. I'm telling you this. It was not natural. I don't know what his deal is, but he creeps me out. He's perfectly competent as far as, like, he never has to write anything down. Huh? Never has to write anything down. But he just remembers everything because he's a cyborg. And that's a hell of a turn one. He rubs me the wrong way. But he's a good waiter, but I would expect an android to be a good waiter. But that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it's right. Is he really going to take 4? Jeez. That's a rough start against Songhai. So yeah, I don't like this guy. I mean, I was expecting to go in there and see my favorite waitress and get sliders, and Jeff wouldn't be there. It was planned to be a good night. It did not end up being a good night because this guy was there and he was our waiter, and it's just so yeah. Other than that, I don't think anything really happened. Although we got an interesting story from my friend Bobby. He was the one I told you guys about. I've told you about him. He's a guy that looks like a male model, but he's a nurse, and it's ridiculous. I don't know how it all works. Guys want to be him, women want to be with him. You get it. And he was telling us a story that during the week he had gone in and kind of like really overseen he'd been involved in like his first major surgery. There's a 15-year-old girl with like severe scoliosis or something like that. Her spine was like an S, basically. Pretty messed up. He was telling us about that first. Like, he told us about that first, and so I was just like, oh god. And he was telling us about how like the doctor had to like take a hammer and just like hammer her spine back into position. It just sounded terrible. It just sounded really disgusting. So he told us that first, and I was like, oh god. And so then I was like, oh, okay, so like what did you do? You know, I mean, obviously he's not hammering it, he's just a nurse. I'm like, okay, what did you do? And he's like, oh, well, I had to put the catheter in, and then I had to like help with, you know, positioning her, making sure her arms stayed on the table and stuff like that. We're just like, whoa. You had to put a catheter into a 15-year-old unconscious girl. And so then we kind of went off on that tangent. We talked about that for a while. And it's really funny to us because, you know, our friend Bobby, he's really a pervert. He's just untrustworthy. Like, he's been in a solid relationship for years, like since high school. I don't think he's ever cheated or done anything, but he just says all the perverted shit. Like, he's a parent's worst nightmare. So it's just so funny to us that he's just sitting there and putting catheters in unconscious girls. Teenage, underage girls. It's just, goodness. Why is that allowed? And he's just like, oh yeah, man, she was a dime. It's just like, God. It's not right. This shouldn't be how it is. But it is exactly how it is. What are my options? Probably gonna do this. Damn it. I don't want to move anywhere, but okay. That was kind of a waste, but sure. Yeah, so it was just he was going into details about that. What did he say? He's like, oh yeah, she freshly shaved her legs, and just for this, and everywhere else it was just scorched. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So yeah, he went on for that for a while, and it's just funny. It's just, I mean, that's a serious operation. Don't get me wrong, it's serious shit. But I guess everything worked out. It was a 6-hour operation, which just sounds like I don't think I could ever be a doctor. I'd much rather be a lawyer than a doctor. But yeah, but yeah, just. And so I'm like, well, yeah, I take comfort in the fact that that's probably about as good as it's ever going to be for you. Like, every other catheter is just going to be into some very, very old person. Which is not exactly true, but it's not going to be wonderful. Does that benefit me at all? I don't have ranged. Is one of these ranged? It won't show me, but I'm pretty sure one of them is ranged. So whatever. So yeah, that was the funny story from that night. Friday night we went to a bar, same bar. It was really the same thing as last week, except minus the very, very chatty girl. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed. I'll admit it. She wasn't even invited. Perhaps because I had made some disparaging remarks to studs, and they were somewhat sarcastic, but I don't know if he took it that way. Where I was just like, oh, you know, I guess I said they were sarcastic because I was, you know. Anyways, so yeah, she wasn't invited, and you know, it's not like I'm gonna invite her or tell her she wasn't invited or anything like that. But you know, she did tend to liven the things up. We're not very an excitable group or anything like that, so yeah. He made the mistake of not hitting me. It was just kind of it was just the 5 guys of us just sitting out there, hanging out for the whole night. Some other guy that was out there on the patio with us, just, like, it was 3 guys, and one of them just started, like, violently throwing up, just all over the patio of this bar. And the other 2 guys, his friends, they just, like, kept on with their conversation. They were, like we could hear it. It was just kind of like, oh shit, man, you're throwing up. So anyways, I went into work today at, like, you know, 7. It's just like, wow, Was just, oh, it's Friday night. Jim's throwing up again. Anyways. And then the guy, like, he threw up everything. Like, there was ice. There was, like, full ice cube. Like, it was everything. I don't know what he did to induce this. And then he just, like, stood up and he just, like, climbed over the railing. And then he went back in the bar. It was so weird. So, we, like, a minute later, we just see him standing in the bar. Probably getting another drink. It was like, my God. That's Wisconsin for you, I guess. The next day, I went to a little event at another friend's house. And it was kind of crowded. And they were like, it all went down in just kind of their basement. They have a pool table down there and a little bar, but it's pretty cramped. Like, it's not very spacious. And there was a whole bunch of people, so it's just kind of like, ugh. And a bunch of the guys there were people that I knew from high school. Actually, no, a bunch of people that I knew from grade school, not high school, grade school, so ages ago. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, there you are, you exist, but I really have no interest in speaking to you. So I didn't talk to any of them at all the entire night. It's just like, you know, we have some mutual friends. Great. Let's not bother each other with our lives or anything. So I hung out with my usual group of friends at the bar. The other guys all just kind of played pool together. Yeah. I mean, it was a fun time, but nothing that really I'm going to tell you about. There was this chick there, though. I think I've seen her once before, kind of like a friend of a friend of a friend. That chick. There's a chick where it's just like, I should just kill myself, because I'm never going to get with anything close to that. Which is weird, because she wasn't even short. Normally, that's all I go for. This chick was like my height. She was like an Amazon. It was insane. I think she's like a soccer player or something, but she was hanging out with some douche, though, so F that. Anyways, then today, I'm not going to go into another game, but today was like the big deal. Earlier in the week, we were discussing about what to do for brunch on Sundays. Last Sunday, we went kind of back to our old place, and we hated it. It was filthy. It was not very good. It was just like, we've realized now how high the bar is set for us, and we can't go back. So that place was just terrible. So we're wondering about what to do for this week. We've been talking about going to a non-all-you-can-eat brunch, just going to a place where you just sit down, you order something, and you eat it, because generally you can get pretty large portions, so it would be fine. And then our good friend Bobby. Keeping in mind, this guy is like a male model. This guy can do like he was drunk Saturday night. He was like wasted, and he did like 31 arm push-ups with one arm, and then like 20 with the other arm. This dude is like completely ripped. It's ridiculous. He's got like an 8-pack. He comes up with the idea. It's like, hey, on Sunday, let's just all go to Taco Bell and spend like $20 there each. This guy, like I'm saying, it's insane. I don't know how it all computes. And so it started as just like a joke. Like we just all completely blew it off. It was just a joke. But then we talked about it more and more as Sunday approached, and we finally just like, we're gonna do this. We're all gonna go there. We're gonna go there at like 10:30, and we're just gonna spend $20 at Taco Bell. That's what we did today. 10:30 a.m. this morning, we were all standing in the Taco Bell parking lot. And those Taco Bell employees were not ready for us. I can assure you that. Like, I was the last to order. And this was for breakfast. We're all going to do breakfast order and then lunch order. So we did all our breakfast orders. I get up there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a biscuit taco. I'm going to get the AM Crunch Wrap. And like the manager yells over, hey, Devin, we don't have enough eggs for that order. And I'm just like, what? And so then the guy, this black guy who was taking all of our orders, this guy was so funny because he had no emotions whatsoever. Like, I think he was hungover. He just did not care for any of our shit. He never smiled or did anything. So he just like, he like listens to what the managers just said. He turns back to me, and then almost is like he thought like I didn't hear it. Like, she's right there, I can hear her. He's just like, oh, okay, so there's not going to be any eggs on that crunch wrap or on the biscuit taco. And so I just kind of stood there and I just looked at him, and I was very deadpan. I was just like, you know, most of your stuff, most of your breakfast stuff has eggs in it. He didn't say anything. He didn't give me any expression. He just kind of looked back at me, and I'm just like, I'll take it. Whatever. Like 90% of their breakfast items have egg in it. Because it's very, you know, it's Mexican. They eat eggs. So I'm just like, whatever. I'll take it. So the goal was to basically get like the most expensive items to get us up to $20 without eating that much, because we knew this was going to be terrible. So I was like, fine, it costs a lot, there's no egg, you know, it won't fill me up as much. Good, fine. So it takes us like 25 minutes, we finally all get our orders, we eat through the breakfast, and after the breakfast, we were all like, this is good. If we leave now, this will just be a good day. But we didn't leave. We had like $10 more to spend. So we all went back up. Like, my buddy Scott went up first for lunch. This black guy, the guy, the cashier, he had heard this dude order all AM Crunch Wraps. He wanted all 3 AM Crunch Wraps. So he had heard that. Then this guy comes back up to the register, like half an hour later, and says, give me 8 soft shell tacos. We were just busting up because it's just so funny. It's just a funny thing. This black guy didn't give 2 shits. He's just like, I've had enough of this nonsense. So he's just like, okay. I don't know what his deal was. It was really funny. So then we all ordered massive amounts of lunch items. Like, just a sickening amount. I didn't quite make it up to 20. I think I spent 16. But I ate a substantial amount of food. And I actually ate all my food. I finished it all, even though things were ready to come out many openings of my body. It was not pleasant. But I finished it all. Yeah, it had its good moments. It had its good moments during the meal. I mean, it's tasty food. For the most part, it's enjoyable stuff, but eating that much, jeez. Like, we were all just so destroyed, and we kept on joking about it so much, so the laughter didn't help. But we saw so many families, like, come in, order their food, eat their food, and leave, and we were still sitting there. We were there for a bit over 2 hours, I want to say. So, yeah, it was lengthy. And so we decided, I guess, that the 3rd Sunday of every July we're going to go there, and that's going to be our Taco Bell brunch, which is probably good. I think we can only handle that once a year. I don't want to know how many calories I consumed or any nutritional information. I don't want to know. But yeah, that ride home, it was just like, oh, God. My one friend actually had to go take a shit during the meal, like, to just empty out. He couldn't take it. He just had to go. Yeah, it was rough, but it was a story, I guess. I don't recommend it, and I mean, we're not going to do anything like that again for a year. I think we'll be very grateful to go back to just a normal, classy brunch next Sunday. But yeah, that's what I do with my life. If you're really curious, if that's why you listen to these episodes, you want to know what I do with my life when I'm not recording. I go to Taco Bell to spend an obscene amount of money and just make myself nasty full. That's the kind of stuff that I do. This is probably why I don't have a girlfriend also. I realize that, but then, you know, I look at my friend Bobby, male model, ridiculous, jacked, girlfriend since high school. I don't know. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing? It's probably because, I don't know, I don't work out enough. He does work out a lot. Maybe that's it. That's the key. That's all you have to do. Just work out an obscene amount of time. And all your problems go away. Anyways, I'm done talking for now. So, My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. See you fine folks next week.